You hear me? With us this morning. So my name is Tracy Irby and I'm the director of the center here. We are funded by the state legislature just to help women entrepreneurs anywhere in Texas. You don't have to be affiliated with TWU. So we're thrilled to have all of you in person and online today. I want to introduce our staff. Kimberly Nielsen is online. She is our statewide program manager and she handles the online audience. Lourdes Ramboa, well, she's online and in person. She is our new associate director of business development. So she's in this back corner for those of you that are here and haven't met her yet. So we're thrilled that she is here. Barbara Ranke is out front and she is the one checking all of you in. So we are part of the larger Jane Nelson Institute for Women's Leadership here at TWU. Under it is our center, the Center for Women, the Center for Student Leadership, and the Center for Women in Government. And the purposes is to ensure women have the education to establish careers as successful executives, for building entrepreneurial businesses and the framework needed to run for public office. So with that, what we like to do is have everybody introduce themselves in here. Make sure you speak loudly, say your name and your business. And all of you online, put your information in chat. Toni here wants to know who you are and what businesses you have. So we will get started here in the room and I will start with you.
Good morning, I'm Heather Walker and I own Bright Smiles by Heather. I have a whitening studio here in the Denton Square, but I am also mobile and can come to you.
Hi there, I'm Pamela Baker. I have a company, Core Productions, and one of our key products is Kara, Commercial All-Road Assistance and Intelligence. I create software for the trucking industry.
Good morning, y'all. It's way too early. My name is Samantha Smith and I own and operate Heavenly Tailored Sweets, the custom bakery here in town. We do custom cakes, cupcakes, cookies, pies, cinnamon rolls, you name it, as well as all the freeze-dried yummies, from freeze-dried candy, fruits, vegetables, to I've got a batch of freeze-dried breast milk in my freezer, my thing right now. So Samantha with Heavenly Tailored Sweets, helping me out a sweet life.
Freeze-dried breast milk?
Oh, Mom wanted her freezer back.
Very cool. I'm Rhonda Roberts and I'm a residential realtor and I love to walk with my residents through the process. I mean, with my, what do you call them? Clients. Yeah, with my clients. Literally, and hold their hand and help them through the whole process and educate them.
My name is Amber Briggle. I'm the founder and CEO of Soma Massage Therapy. I've got 2 locations here in Denton. I'm actively franchising, and so when I saw that this was the program for today, I'm like, that's me, I'm a woman in franchising. So I'm very excited to be here today. If you know anyone, I know that you all have your own businesses, but if you know anyone who's interested in the wellness industry, you come bring them to me because I've got everything ready to go. So much talking time.
Good morning, I'm Toni Legas, owner of Yellow Rose Paint Party, which is a mobile paint party business where I bring creativity to you and your stressed out employees or friends and family. So, Toni Legas, Yellow Rose Paint Party.
Good morning, I am Renee Houston. I own Reconnect DFW. I am a licensed massage therapist and I specialize in providing massage for people who don't want to be touched. Oh, yeah. We've spoken. Yeah.
I'm Courtney Flowers. I'm the owner of True Intentions of Love. I'm a Christian life coach and I have a self-love online store for affirmations for people who are learning to re-love themselves after love abuse with a Christian background.
Great, thank you. We're so glad all of you are here today. So we're going to get started. Well, would I put you on the spot if you have to introduce yourself now before we get started?
Good morning. Hi, good morning. My name is Laquita Owens.
All right, and your business?
Rain Decor. I'm an interior designer.
Okay, great, welcome. Okay, All right, well, we'll get going now. So we have with us today Toni Harris Taylor. She is a friend of the CWE for sure. We love having her. So get ready to be inspired and empowered by Toni Harris Taylor. She's known as the networking queen and the coach that connects. Toni is a dynamic intercontinental speaker, marketing, and sales coach. 13 times author and the founder and executive director of Global Multicultural Franchise Connectors, where she's on a mission to educate and connect minorities with franchising opportunities. They've all seen your full bio, so I'm just gonna turn it over to you now because we wanna use our time getting great information from you, Toni.
Good morning, ladies. Good morning, good morning, good morning. If you're on the screen, wave at me, please. And the ladies in the room, I'm especially in love with you because you showed up in person. And that means a lot. So thank you, ladies. Now, there was a lady who introduced herself. She has a wellness brand. She just franchised. What's her name?
Hi, okay,
We'll even let you see her.
All right, come on up, girl. Come on up.
class, I'm Amber, I'm the founder and CEO of Soma Massage Therapy.
Okay, very good. Very good. Thank you. We're going to talk about this franchising thing. But before we get started, every great speaker has to have a theme song. Let's go.
If you want your business to go to another level, you must try to learn and hear something new. So make the change today. So don't procrastinate and see your business grow and change. So check out Drastic. So yeah, with Toni Harris Taylor. Toni Harris Taylor. Drastic. So oh yeah, with Toni Harris Taylor. Yeah.
All right, ladies, I want y'all to know that in order to get drastic results, you got to get drastic. And so today I'm going to talk about a very drastic topic, and that is franchising. We're going to learn something that I wish I had known over 30 years ago when I got into entrepreneurship. Best kept secret out there, especially for women. Now, ladies in the chat, please put in, when I say franchising, what comes to mind? Ladies online, ladies in the room, just shout out, what comes to mind when I say franchising? Multiple,
I'll repeat them.
She said a cookie cutter.
Cookie cutter,
cookie cutter, okay?
Yeah.
Systems.
Systems, great. I see in the chat, multiple stores, McDonald's, fast food, sports clips. Yes, very good. So those are some brands that come to mind. Some of the things that franchising offers, systems, so that you don't have to start from scratch. So let's get into the content because I want to leave some time for comments and questions. So in 2019, I almost quit. Almost quit. Anybody sometimes feel like quitting? Tell the truth, shame the devil, right? I almost quit. What did that mean? I was a business coach, and it's a longer story, but I actually, and if the host can spotlight me, Kimberly, if you can spotlight me, that'd be great. So I'm front and center. So I had not figured out what made me unique, and I was frustrated. And so I decided that I was just going to hang up my entrepreneur hat and go get a job. Some of you have jobs and trying to get into entrepreneurship. And my husband kept singing the Get a Job song. I hate that song. I hate it. Stop singing the stupid song. So he was singing that song. He hated his job, but he wanted misery loves company. And he kept saying, you need to get a job. I didn't know what else to do. So I decided to start interviewing through my network. I am a networking expert, and I was a networking expert then, but didn't know it. Anyway, while I'm waiting on 2 job offers to come through, a friend of mine who's a money mindset coach, I go to her with my pain. "Ugh, I don't know what to do. I don't want to get a job, but I just don't know what makes me different as a coach." She said, "Toni, what's your why?" I told her. She said, "You know what? You've already accomplished that. I need you to go create a new why. Come back and tell me what it is. Perhaps you need a why that will motivate you to want to stay in business." Okay, I'm coachable. So I did what she asked me to do. I wrote down everything I love to do, everything I knew I didn't want to do. And what kept rising to the top is I love connecting people. So I said, went back to her a couple weeks later. I said, my why is to touch, move, and inspire my client to take drastic steps so that they can get drastic results and be better than they were before they met me. I'm a resource, I'm a connector. I want to help people to determine or build relationships that are beneficial to their life and business. Toni, that's perfect for you, because I was always connecting people. She said, what would you need to do to get paid to connect people? Well, lady, if I knew that, I wouldn't be talking to you. That's what I was thinking. My inside voice said that. My outside voice said, I think I would need to start my own networking group. Ladies, watch this. She said, well, that would be great. Why don't you? Absolutely not. I don't know what to charge. I've seen too many people run networking groups not make any money. I don't know how to run a meeting. I don't have technology to pull it together, and I don't want to start from scratch. She said, Toni, if that is truly your why, don't worry about the how. It will show up. I blinked at her on the screen just like I'm blinking at y'all, and I was like, I don't think so, but thanks anyway. Click. I was done with that conversation. 1 week later, a lady I had met, y'all will relate to this. A lady I had met from Houston, but I met her at a women's retreat in Granbury, up there by y'all, followed up with me. She was a network and action franchise owner. I had met her 3 months earlier. She said, Toni, I hope you remember me. I still think you should be a network and action franchise owner. I do remember you. I also remember you said it was $40,000. I'm looking for a job. I don't have $40,000. Thanks, but no thanks. She said, just talk to the franchisor. Okay, tell him I'm got 2 job offers. I don't have 40,000. If he still wants to meet me, great. He met me. Instant connection. Everything, watch this, everything I had said the week before I didn't have, he already had ready already. I loved it. Sir, I love what you got, but I don't have $40,000. Because he liked me, because he could see my heart, because I opened my email and showed him all the connections I had made for people. He said, Toni, I'm going to work with you. Well, that's what happens when you have an emerging brand, right? So Amber has an emerging brand. It's brand new. She's still a small business owner. She can make those decisions. And he gave me a payment plan for the franchise. And today I'm his first ever Rookie of the Year, Brand Ambassador, Community Service Award. It changed my life, and by extension, changed the lives of my clients. One of the things that came to me was I didn't know that franchising existed outside of food and storefronts, right? I knew the Mathnasiums and the Kumans and all of those were franchises, but I thought franchises had to be storefronts or food. And no, I didn't want that. And I thought they cost hundreds of thousands, if not millions of dollars. So what I'm going to reveal to you is what I have learned about franchising in the short 6 years, 5 years since I've been in franchising. And what happened when I bought my franchise is it enhanced my primary business, my business coaching. I became the networking queen. I had not identified that networking was my uniqueness. So I became the networking queen who owned a networking franchise. It was a great companion to my Drastic results coaching business because I was teaching people how to network. I just had not identified. Soon as I bought the franchise, my uniqueness is networking. And I have now tripled my coaching business revenue. I haven't looked back for a job since. And now I'm moving forward with helping people get into franchising. Wow. All because I showed up. That's a whole nother topic for another day. But my networking phrase is show up, be up, follow up to blow up. It was because I had the courage to show up in Granbury. Someone had the courage to follow up with me. And now I'm talking to you. So let's go. And if you want to download my ebook, and ladies in the chat, I put the links. DrasticFranchise.com. This ebook is Take Control, your guide to owning a franchise and building your future. Get my ebook. It tells my story, and it tells the story of how franchising is so much easier than startups. Not easy, but easier. Okay. So download that ebook or go to DrasticFranchise.com and get your copy. Okay, let's talk about the truth with startups. And y'all can amen and hallelujah in the room. I can hear you in chat. The truth about startups. Startups are hard. Not just hard, hoard. Right? You got to create your own brand. All the way down to what colors do I use for my brand? What's my logo? Who am I talking to? You got to create your own services and products. Where is the manufacturer going to come from? What is my service? You got to figure out your pricing. Remember in my story, I said, I don't even know what to charge for a networking group. I've seen too many people not make money. Figure out your pricing on your own. You got to figure out your marketing strategies. And you throw a lot of spaghetti up against the wall trying to see what works, what doesn't work. You spend a lot of money making mistakes. Am I right or am I right? Am I right or am I right?
You're right.
I am right. I know, because that's the how I know. I have done it. And then if you're home based, it can be lonely. There's a lot more about startups, but it can be very frustrating. So let's talk about franchising. So what's a franchise? A franchise is a business arrangement where an established company, the franchisor, we'll call him Scott. That's my NIA franchisor. So I may even refer to Amber a couple times. So franchisor allows another individual or entity, Toni, the franchisee, to operate a business using their brand, trademark, business model in exchange for an initial fee, ongoing royalties, essentially giving the franchisee the right to run a business under the franchisor's name in a specific territory. So that's the textbook definition. Here's my definition. It's a business in a box that's already ready already. When you become a part of a emerging brand, less than 50 franchisees, the franchisor has a lot of flexibility to take your input. So even if you wanted to be a startup and franchising feels controlling, if you get into an emerging brand, you usually become friends and family with the franchisor. And you can bring your ideas to the franchisor. And today, Network in Action is using things that I have brought to this day. Now, if you get in a legacy brand, a bigger brand that's been established for a long time, most likely it's more rigid, right? So because they've been there, done that, they've proven it's established. So if you buy McDonald's, you can't sell your grandmother's Kool-Aid, all right? You just can't. All right. But if you get in with a Small restaurant, you might be able to share the Kool-Aid recipe with the franchisor. Now, for the record today, I'm not talking about restaurants. We all know restaurants. We all know you can go into a restaurant. I do like the bakery idea, but I'm not necessarily talking about restaurants. But here's some franchise facts. Less than 7% of franchisees are African American, less than 5% are Hispanic. We got work to do. Less than 1% of franchisors are minority. Now, and there are women franchisors, but it's less than 1%. 31% of franchise owners are women. So not 50% yet. So we still have more work to do. And less than 2% of minorities supply their services to franchises. What does that mean? I heard that, I wrote down some names here. So the promo products lady. So who was that in the room over there? What was the promo products lady?
That's me.
That was you, Doris? Okay,
Yes.
great. So you could supply your promo products. I'm going to share a story later on about that. Thank you, Doris. I appreciate that. So you've got a product or a service that franchising might want to buy, but we don't know that because nobody's told us. So here's some more facts. 69% of franchise owners are men. Really? We need to change that. And every 8 minutes, a new franchise opens in a single business day. And most of them are men, and most of them are white men. So, not taking anything away from white men. I love them. They have changed my life. Scott's a white man. Without him, I wouldn't be talking to you today. But there's room for growth for all of us ladies because there's opportunities we don't know about. So, Multicultural Franchise Connectors, that is a 501c3 that I set up with a mission to bring more women and people of color into franchising. So, we achieve this by educating and equipping diverse communities with the knowledge, resource, and connections necessary to explore franchising. Why did I come up with this? And I've been to 14 franchise conferences in the last 5 years. Okay. I went to a conference in June in Atlanta. Consistently, I'm often the only Black woman in the room. Consistently, there's just not enough people of color at these events. So in June, I go to this conference in Atlanta. There were 400 people there. Ask me how many were Black. Atlanta now. I'll just tell you, 2.5. 2.5. The half was from Toronto, and the 2 were from Houston. So they had this little event for women in franchising prior to the main conference. There are about 50 people in the room, and the lady on the stage said, I'm so proud of where women have come in franchising. And when I enter franchising, you could count the number of women on one hand. She said, and now, we are 30% of the market. I raised my hand. I remember, I'm the only person of color in this room. I said, look at this room. We're in Atlanta. What do you suggest I do to make this room look like the rest of America? She said, if you can't get a seat at the table, create your own table. Bet, lady, that was the permission I needed, the drastic permission to take what was already in my head, in my heart, after going to, at that point, a dozen conferences, and seeing that I'm the only one in the room. And this when I decided to take drastic action and form the Multicultural Franchise Connectors. I'm hoping that I am touch, moving, and inspiring some of you to look at franchising, and there's 4 paths that we have outlined. Path number 1. Okay. The bakery. Oh, I wish I was there. Sam Smith. That's what I heard. Sam Smith owns a bakery, right? So she's probably got, and it's custom bakery. So she's probably got recipes, systems, processes. She can become a franchisor. That's the way we can build wealth. Imagine Sam selling 100 bakeries across the United States. Everybody follows the same recipe. Yes, I know you're concerned they're not going to be the same, but if Ray Kroc had that concern, the Big Mac wouldn't taste the same all over the world. The Chick-fil-A nuggets wouldn't taste the same all over the world. You put the systems and processes in place, and people have to follow them. If they buy the franchise, they're agreeing to follow them. But Miss Sam, that's beautiful. You can do that. Amber, she started hers. She became a franchisor. I'd love to get on my calendar, Amber. I want to hear your story. How did you go from probably being a solo to wanting to do it all over the world? Massage Envy, Massage Heights, those are brands that are out there. But if you are massage or wellness related, you could probably buy into Amber's brand for a whole lot less than those others. So become a franchisor. Number 2, become a franchisee. Most of us would love multiple streams of income. Raise your hand on the screen if you want multiple streams of income. Of course, and it's smart to have multiple streams of income because one stream of income can go down with the ship. We're seeing a lot of that going on right now. When I bought a franchise that was a great companion to what I was doing already, it changed the game for me. Look at Rhonda. Rhonda's a residential realtor in the room. Realtors definitely need to buy a franchise. Why? Because all of their buyers and sellers need paint. They want the kitchen redone. They want the bath redone. They need the roof redone. They want the garage fixed. These home services make millions of dollars, y'all. Home services, and women do very well in home services. So every realtor should have a companion franchise. Instead of referring that business out, you take the business. You already have the relationship. There's a business in my portfolio called Send Me a Pro. Send Me a Pro. People tap the app and they get a handyman. They get a painter. You get paid, the pro gets paid, and the company gets paid. It's brilliant. That's a franchise. Become a franchisee. What's a good companion to what you're already doing? Number 3, supply your services to the franchise industry. Doris, you've got promo products, probably printed materials, branded apparel. I'm going to tell you a story about how my client now has 5 franchise clients because she showed up at a franchise conference. The beautiful thing about supplying your services to the franchise industry is you sell it once to the franchisor, and then the franchisor sells it to the franchisees. Who's telling us that? That's another way to create wealth, because your company automatically gets bigger when you inherit a group of clients instead of one by one by one by one. And lastly, work for a franchise brand. It says corporate headquarters, but I've continued to learn, and there's some franchisors or franchisees that operate like franchisors, meaning they have multiple brands. So you can work for a franchise brand if you're not entrepreneurial. All right, so let's take a look at what it takes. So become a franchisor allows you to scale, brand growth, increase your revenue, create wealth, and build a legacy. So I'm back to the bakery. I haven't eaten this morning. So that she could easily, not easily, but you can become a franchisor. Now, let me say this about becoming a franchisor. When you become the franchisor, you are no longer the doer. You become a coach and a trainer of the doers. So you have to be willing to hang up your doer hat. So Sam won't be baking as many cakes and cookies if she becomes a franchisor, because she's got to train and mentor others to do the same. But it is a way to build wealth and leave a legacy. Become a franchisee, proven business model, NIA, brand recognition, NIA, community and network, other franchisees help me along the way. I'm now helping other franchisees. Training and support. Franchisor gives us training support. That's why you pay a royalty. New products, new designs, purchasing power. So I don't have any products in my franchise, but if you have products and you did do a food brand, then you'd have less price because of the group purchasing power. And the big one is marketing assistance. Now it's assistance. They have a playbook that you can follow. You have to tweak it for your local markets. You still got to get out there, but you don't have to start from scratch. And then supply your services. So adding franchising as your niche, you sell it to the main brand, and then the franchisees buy it because the main brand says you're a good vendor. And then over 8 million people are employed in franchising in the US. So you can, if you are looking for a job or want a job, you can get a job in a franchise brand. So here's some real life success stories. This is Ishanda and Jessica. Ishanda and Jessica own Innovative Senior Care. Innovative Senior Care is adult daycare, very much needed with the silver tsunami happening. Caregivers still have to take care of business and life. They need to be able to drop their parents off somewhere. They have an adult daycare concept, and they are expanding in 2026 into our areas. So these sisters are one of the 1% of franchisors. This is the Bartlett family. I had lunch with Delilah, and she said, my husband's looking for a business. Have you ever thought about buying a franchise? I don't want a restaurant. Franchising's more than food. I introduced her to a franchise consultant, which I am now, and that consultant placed her with a non-medical transportation franchise called Tootle. Wow, who knew? So they are operating their franchise. And this is Patrika, my coaching client, who coached with me to get better with her marketing. When we were talking about her target market, she is the one that does branded supplies, vehicle wraps, promo products, and branded apparel. I said, have you ever thought about niching in franchising? No. How do I do that? Come with me. We go into some franchise conferences so you can meet some people. And now she went with me in July. She now has 6 franchise companies that are using her brand. Awesome. Then I knew some of y'all would say, Toni, that sounds great. Can you help me get into franchising? Can you help me with branding and getting into my turning my business into a franchise? Or can you help me with buying a franchise? Yes, I can. Introducing Drastic Franchise Matchmakers, connecting your entrepreneurial dreams to the right fit franchise. Look at this video. This is a list that I have access to. 30 categories. Look at all the subcategories of types of franchises you can buy into. Who knew? There's a driving school franchise. Idea. All of these are franchise types that you can get into a lot are home-based. When I go into this list, I click home-based, less than $150,000, I get a list of over 170 franchises. Home-based, probably solopreneurs, a lot of them, or small employee base. It is amazing. Who knew? And they're coming out with new franchises every day. So how do you finance a franchise? So the SBA loan is available. They have something called a express loan. It's $150,000 express loan. Use other people's money. Even if you have the money, if you can qualify for an SBA loan, use the government money. So you have to have a 700 credit score to qualify. And it's nice if you have someone in the household who has W-2 income. Your partner, your spouse has W-2 income. Not necessarily a requirement, but it's nice to have. You can use your old retirement plans, 401k, 403bs. You're sitting there. I don't know what they're doing today. They may have made a big gain, but you could use money out of there. If you're a veteran, there's often minority and veteran discounts in these brands. They normally, a lot of brands give a 10% discount to veterans, minorities, first responders. And so it just depends on the brand, but you can use a loan from veteran loans. Equipment leasing, unsecured lines of credit. You can use your home equity line of credit. Yes, you can tap into your savings, and yes, you can get friends to help you and invest in you. There are many ways, creative ways, and it's like buying a house. So if you get an SBA loan, you need to have 10 to 20% down. So if you buy a $100,000 franchise, you need up to $20,000 cash from some of these other areas. You can get creative, and then you finance the rest. So we can explore those options together. In the meantime, while you are figuring out what you want to do, I have launched a community in the School platform. If you haven't heard of School yet, it's SKOOL, and you can join our School community. Yeah, I'm growing it. It's small right now, but help me. Share it. Don't keep this good information to yourself. And then put people, and then there's some videos in there. You can explore the brands that I put in there. I'm looking for someone who can help me run this community because I can't do it all. So School community, school.com MFC, and I can drop those links in chat again as well. All right. Q&A. What do you want to know? How much time do I have, Kimberly?
You have 12 minutes.
Okay, perfect. So what questions do you all have? And I'm going to put my slide up for contact. If you want to get on my calendar and talk more, there's my contact information. You could scan that QR code and get on my calendar. By the way, if I do match you or your family to a franchise, it costs them nothing. The franchisor pays me to bring them the right candidate. Okay, open your mic and ask a question.
All right, we usually go back and forth, Toni, to make sure the in-person gets a chance to. But Kimberly, if you have someone now with a question, you can go, and then after that, we'll take a question in here.
Well, we did have a request for the QR code to, it was a booklet.
Yes.
So they will also get our slides, but Toni, if you want to put that back in, all of you will receive the slides and that information's in there, but go ahead and put it in the chat too, if you have that.
It's already in the chat. I just dropped it again. DrasticFranchise.com is the ebook. Okay,
Right.
so if you don't have a question either in the room, you
Well,
all can.
we do.
Oh, okay, good. Go ahead.
All right, Amber.
Well, I actually have two reflections that I would love for Toni to expand on, but if someone has a question, they can go.
Well, you're first, so come on.
Oh,
Or you can stay there or
No,
come
yeah.
up here either
So
way.
Toni, this is Amber again from Soma. I really resonated with your experience in Atlanta being the only Black woman in the room. I recently attended a conference in Las Vegas, the IFA conference in Vegas. Fantastic conference. Don't recommend Vegas, but definitely recommend the conference. And I am not Black, but I definitely resonated with the absence of female franchisors in that space. I was just completely outnumbered, like tons of franchisees, women-owned franchises, but very few franchisors. And it feels, I'm so grateful to this presentation today and this opportunity, because I really would love to see more of you at these conferences and really have that representation. So I really resonated with that. And the other thing I resonated with was you had said earlier that owning a franchise, either as a franchisor or as a franchisee, is such a great way to create wealth. And that is one of the things that's really driven me, my why. One of my whys for wanting to expand Soma massage therapy is when you look at like the being a massage therapist, like you don't, I know I'm speaking at a college, I'm sorry, but you don't need a college degree to be a massage therapist. Similarly, you don't need to have a college degree to be a franchisor. And the amount of wealth that I'm creating for my employees at Soma and the amount of wealth that franchisees could be earning too, I just wanted to make not only our healing touch and our wellness accessible to as many people as possible. I mean, we see like 1,000 people a month at our location, like 4 blocks here. Now imagine if we could blow that up, coast to coast, how many more people we'd be able to heal, but also the amount of wealth that we'd be able to create for our employees and really for the country. And so that, it was just something that really resonated with me. So I just wanted to thank you on that. I don't know if you want to expand on that, but that really hit home for me.
I love that, Sam. Thank you for sharing. No, not Sam, Amber. Thanks for sharing that. And get on my calendar because I want to see how I can help you sell some franchises.
I did one question. How do I get listed on your website? I guess I'll send you an email, but I was curious about that. So
About what?
well, you had that video, you're like scrolling through, like find a franchise brand. I want to
Yeah. I'll tell you all about that. Yes.
All right.
I'm with a franchise broker and they provide all those franchises. Okay. Another question.
Online. Anybody online have a question?
I want to say something to Michaela. So Michaela was in the breakout room with me. She is a student getting ready to graduate from TWU. Yeah. But she said she's a physical therapist and she has a passion for dance. Diva Dance is a franchise based in Austin that is all about giving women and men confidence no matter their size. That's a brand you can buy into. I'm like, I had no idea. So there are dance studio brands out there. Pretty much anything you want. Let me say this too, and we are speaking at a university, but y'all's kids not all university material. And that money you spending sending them to college, you could be buying them a business or buy yourself a business and have them work in the business to learn business.
Yeah.
Okay. So I want you to think about franchising differently. It's not just hamburgers and chicken. There's a lot there. So I'm putting my contact information up again. It's in the chat. If you want to connect with me, get on my calendar. Let's talk about what's possible. Where do you want to play? If you want to supply, I'm going to be having a conference in November in Houston, putting franchise people and entrepreneurs in the same room together. And the first key to success is to show up. On that note, I want to say thank you to the TWU team for always pushing me and wanting to hear my voice. I hope that this was something different that I'm showing you so that you can take drastic action.
Yes.
My name is
we
Toni.
have a question in here. You're not leaving yet, Toni.
Oh, okay.
All
Good
right.
morning again. I'm Laquita Owens. It's more of a statement. I am a franchise owner. I own Decorating Den Interiors. And so when you said, I had never thought about the companion franchise, like marketing to other franchise owners. So thank you for that. So that's
Oh.
my homework to try to figure out who I can market my interior designs to other franchise owners.
Okay, so that's good. That's real good. That's part of the supplying your services to
Right.
franchises. So think about the small brands that still have storefronts and they might want a brand refresh, right? That's a great one. I love that. And Laquita, I want to learn more about that brand as well. So hop on my calendar.
Well, thank you.
There was a franchisee on this line or franchisor on this line too on chat. Who was that? Raise your hand if you're in franchising already. Okay, she might have had to drop. Okay, any other comments or questions?
Anything in here? I mean, she's got great info, so now's the time. Well, I have a question.
Sure.
You had mentioned some franchises as low as $5,000.
No, I didn't say
No,
that.
not as that. Okay, I misheard that from last time. Okay.
So let's talk about the price of franchises. Every brand is different. My specialty is 150 and less because of the SBA Express loan, but you can get a franchise at, it depends on the brand, but I can sell Network and Action franchise for 10,000. And then there's a kids movement brand that's 15,000. And let me just say, you're gonna spend that same money, but most of them are 50,000-ish, around 50,000. You can find a few at 25K, but they're mostly at 50,000, and between 50 and 150 is my target.
Okay, great. Maybe I just heard the 25 and just heard the 5. But still, even those, I mean, with 10 or 15,000, I mean, that's low. So,
Well, and can I just jump
Yes.
into, I mean, we think about all the things that you finance in your life, like you finance like a motorcycle, a house, a student loan, right? And like by financing a franchise, you're financing your future because it can pay you back in real time. Like you don't make money back on your house until you sell it, right? You never make money back on a car purchase, right? But by financing a franchise, you get paid back in real time.
right. And cars are getting darn
Yeah.
expensive.
Oh, yeah.
Correct. So we have to change our mind. It's drastic mindset to finance your business. Stop this startup thing. I'm telling y'all, I'm not poo-pooing. I got my own startup. So, and so I'm not poo-pooing on that. But if you have to, you're gonna spend the same money. Guaranteed, if you're gonna be a successful business, you're spending thousands of dollars to get your business up and running and making a lot of mistakes along the way.
True.
So,
Well, that's where you're spending your money is in time.
Right. She said you're spending your money in time.
in time.
Yeah, a lot of
Absolutely.
it.
Tony, we have a question online asking about, have you ever seen event-based franchising?
Somebody else asked me that. I have not yet, but as soon as you say it, it's coming.
Yeah.
Now, we do have co-working space, which has training rooms and conference rooms and office space. So co-working space in franchising for sure. Party event space, not sure. Felicia, I see your question. Somebody else asked about registering for the franchise event in Houston. Get on my list, Donna. It's not open for registration yet. But if you get on my list, I will make sure you'll be getting the emails and I'll put you down to remind you.
Right? Any questions in here?
I have a question. My husband and I, we offer grant writing training services to churches, nonprofits, individuals, whatever. We've been doing it over 20 some years now. And we have a lot of training material. I never had really thought much about franchises till I listened to your presentation. So would that be a good,
Franchises could be a good client for profit, so you could supply your services. A lot of franchises have nonprofit foundations attached to them as well. So they could be a target market for supplying your services, but then also doing grants. You could franchise your model.
okay, that's what I
You've been
was
doing
thinking.
it 20 years. You have systems, and there are a lot of people trying to build a grant writing business from scratch. You could franchise your model, and it would be a home-based franchise. That's a great companion to something else other people are doing. So
Okay,
Annette, thank
thank
you.
you. I appreciate it.
We had a question in the room.
Okay.
Miss Annette actually kind of asked my question, but I guess I could ask, I'm a very new business, like less than a year. And so I was wondering, like, could I get on your schedule even to project the future of my business?
Sure, absolutely. Um, yes, so get on my schedule. The co-working space is Intelligent Office, Venture X, and those cost about $300,000. Okay, so they're not cheap enterprises. Why? You got to have space, you got to have build out, you got to have employees, you got to have equipment, desk, and things like that. But those revenues run into the millions if the location is right.
Great,
So,
thank you. Any more questions in here?
Areas of transportation, I think I saw automotive in that list.
Okay,
yes,
area of transportation,
What about
yes.
trucking.
Yes, trucking is in there, automotive is in there. Think about your oil change places, those are franchises. When you say trucking, are you talking about an individual truck? Say more about trucking.
So I have a business called Advocate Her, and we're targeting 1 million women to address the disparity of women in trucking. And so with that, we have curriculum pathways that we're offering for women. One, for the awareness so that they can consider trucking as a actual viable career opportunity. So I wanted to know within your list there, if you have areas of trucking or potential.
I'll have to go back and look, get on my calendar and we can look together.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Miss Donna, I see your hand.
Hello, Toni. Gosh, this is the second time in 2 weeks, I think I've seen you.
Thanks for coming back.
Glad to be here. I was interested in this. I've had other people mention something about franchising. I teach accent reduction and American English pronunciation to non-native speakers. And when you were talking about the international group, that's been my observation. I see very few multicultural people showing up at conferences and different kinds of things. And I was wondering, I've got the digital course made. Can I just talk to you about how to become a franchisor? I would like to see if I couldn't either sell this to somebody else who already has a big learning platform. Or
so there, yes.
The word.
So yes, we can talk about it, but there's something also called licensing. So licensing is where you might want to go to the licensing route, Miss Donna, because they can then use their own brand, but use your methodology.
Okay.
Versus franchising, where franchising, everybody has to be clear English coach.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so we can talk about licensing. I don't do licensing, but I have people in my network that do. I also don't franchise businesses. I have people in my network that do, and I refer them to my network. But let me tell you this, to become a franchise, Amber, you can say amen or not, but to become a franchise on the low end, it's $45,000. On the high end, it's $120,000 to become a franchisor. But then your franchise fees are somewhere around 50,000. So, you'll make that back in a couple of sales, right? So, but you do have to be prepared. You can get a loan for that too, right, Amber? So, if you think you want a license or franchise, there is expenses in that. But looking at the bigger picture, it's a great way to expand and grow wealth.
Would you put your contact information back up
Sure.
on the screen so I can take a screenshot or put it in the chat?
I'll put
Yeah.
it back up on the
With your
screen for one last pass. for
Calendly or
everybody to
whatever.
get
Thank
on
you.
And
my
you will get all this information too when you get the replay. You'll get the slides and everything else as well. All right, well, let's hear it for Toni. Who learned some good makeup?
I need to get a picture for social media, if those of you don't mind. Let me take a quick picture. Wow, this was a great session. I hope you all learned something. Thank you, Tracy. Y'all have been so, like, whatever I want to talk about, you're like, yes.
Well, we knew this would be a great topic too, and many don't know that much about it. And we all learned from you today. So thank you, Toni.
Thank you.
All right, I do want to let you know some of our upcoming events. So our next WomenRISE next month is going to be Donna Henry, Follow the Money, How to Read and Use Your Cash Flow Statement. Really, it's helping you plan ahead with your numbers by knowing your numbers. So that'll be great. July 7th is our anniversary party, so make sure you have that on your calendar. We'll start opening the invites for that soon. We're going to have that here on campus. We do have tables that you can get at no charge. So let us know. I've sent that out a couple times. I know there's some of you in the room who have already registered, but you online will get that out. So if you want to be here in Denton as part of our anniversary program, we've got a free table for you. It's going to be later in the day. You can probably start setting up around 12. We want to send TWU over at 3, but the whole event starts at 5 o'clock.
What is the date for the June one?
It's July 7th.
No, the June one.
Oh, it is the second Tuesday. I didn't write that down.
July 8th, Tracy.
July 8th.
No.
No.
June 10th.
Our event's July 8th, not 7th.
WomenRISE is June 10th.
June 10th.
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you. I was like, July 7th doesn't sound right.
If we have our calendars blocked on the 7th, prepare.
Okay. In October 23rd, Denton is hosting the Governor's Small Business Forum, and it is the Women's Series that will be here in Denton. They don't have a location yet, but kind of mark that down because it'll be great. They'll have the all-day session, and then the Governor's Commission for Women is here as well, and they sponsor the happy hour afterwards. So that one's a little different. So I'm going to turn it back over to you, Kimberly. You already have host duties, correct?
I believe so. Let's double check. Yes, yeah.
All right. By online audience.